From the makers of the Arrowverse deciding to put an end to the franchise, to the cast being ready to say goodbye to their decade-long journey, this is the real reason why there won't be a Flash Season 10. People were shocked to hear that the lightning-fast saga of The Flash is hitting the brakes after Season 9. That's right, it's time to say goodbye to our favorite Scarlet Speedster as the curtains close on this electrifying show. What makes this news even bigger is the fact that this will also mark an end to the entire Arrowverse. I don't know about you, but this definitely feels like an end to my childhood. The franchise, inspired by the iconic DC Comics, kicked off with Arrow back in 2012, and then The Flash burst onto the scene in 2014, lighting up our lives with its speedy goodness. Just when we thought things couldn't get any better, we got Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and Batwoman one after the other. Wow, good times. Now, here's the big question that's got everyone talking. Why in the world is The Flash, one of the Arrowverse's shining stars, calling it quits after Season 9? Because last we heard, there were talks of a Season 10. What exactly changed? Turns out, fans are not the only ones confused by the show's sudden decision to end. The Flash's own showrunner, Eric Wallace, was just as surprised to hear the news. After running on the CW for almost 10 years, things didn't go as Wallace had planned. The boss behind the series spilled the beans, and as it turns out, not only was Season 9 supposed to be even longer, they'd even thought about the storyline for Season 10. I mean, they were really going for it, but plans changed, and now we're left wondering what could have been. Wallace didn't hold back as he sat down with the nerds of color to talk about the final season. Apparently, the last two seasons were supposed to be the bomb, with a mind-blowing 200th finale episode that would leave us all in tears. But then, out of the blue, the news dropped that this was it, the last season. A true plot twist for the showrunner. Suddenly, poor Wallace had to figure out how to squeeze all that story into just 13 episodes. How do you even do that? The struggle was real for the man, especially because he couldn't quite figure out what went wrong and why the show was cut short. Interestingly enough, the decision had nothing to do with viewership. The show had actually been killing it in the viewership game. I'm talking about an average of 1 million viewers for its 8th season alone. Those are impressive stats for a show nearing its 10th year on air. This makes The Flash one of the CW's hottest shows from 2021 to 2022. But hey, even though it was riding high, every good thing must eventually come to an end, right? It was just time for the show to say goodbye. Now, here's where things get juicier. Turns out, the 8th season was actually supposed to be the grand finale. But the network and those sneaky folks over at Greg Berlanti Productions weren't ready to let go. They managed to convince Grant Gustin, our beloved Barry Allen, The Flash, Candace Patton, who plays Iris West Allen, and the rest of the gang to come back for one more season. And come back they did. After all, who could resist the allure of another round with the fastest man alive? Definitely not us. So, just when fans were fearing the worst after a series of sudden cancellations, including Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman, guess who managed to escape the chopping block? Yep, you guessed it. The Flash snagged a renewal for Season 9 in August 2022. Talk about a sigh of relief, right? But that sigh of relief did not last long, as there was a whole other story going on behind the scenes. The big boss, Mark Pedowitz, who was ruling the CW until October 2022, had some explaining to do. He mentioned that the cancellations were all part of a so-called time of transition for the network. Things were changing, and they wanted to move away from those Arrowverse shows. Absolutely unacceptable, if you ask me. But looks like they were setting their sights on more unscripted programming, whatever that means. And DC Studios creative chief James Gunn thought continuing a universe like the Arrowverse would bring a whole lot of drama, especially when you're constantly being compared to the new DC universe. Remember what happened with the DC Extended Universe? Yeah, unwanted comparisons left and right. So, it's no surprise that Gunn decided not to bring back The Flash for another season. I mean, the pressure and expectations would be through the roof. But there is one silver lining to the news as these things go. We're sure some actors and characters will make a comeback through the multiverse in the future. The real shame is that Legends and Batwoman didn't even get the luxury of getting a series finale. Every show deserves a series finale. No matter how badly they mess it up, I'm looking at you, Game of Thrones. But hey, at least The Flash got a proper send-off. It's the least they could have done for us salty fans. One person who's not too sad about saying goodbye to the show is, ironically, the face of the show. Grant Gustin is completely at peace with the announcement and might even have played the biggest role in killing the show. How could you, Barry? Apparently, he was ready for it all to be over. And no, it's not because of any drama or bad vibes. Grant simply said it felt like it was time. Even though some were hoping for a glorious 10 seasons, the 33-year-old believed that after a whole decade of adventures, they'd accomplished everything they set out to do. The characters were in a good place, and they'd reached a satisfying conclusion. While talking to E! News, Gustin compared the show's end to graduating from high school. He said he's pumped to wrap things up and dive headfirst into the next chapter of his life. But hey, let's not get ahead of ourselves here, because he's not even sure which college he's going to. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Who knows what's in store for our leading star after this wild ride? What we do know is that there have been huge changes in the star's private life since the show started. The speedster sensation now has a 17-month-old daughter named Juniper Grace, and she's just the cutest, you guys. Oh, and let's not forget his lovely wife, Andrea Toma. For now, the family man is all about moving on with his life, surrounded by his loved ones. Emotionally, they're ready for whatever the future holds. Career-wise, the American actor and singer is apparently still open to the idea of playing a superhero. During an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Gustin assured fans that he's still a huge fan of the genre and hasn't had enough of it. He said he would love to find his way back to the world of superheroes someday. And the best part? It could even be as Barry Allen. Yep, the actor said he would be open to playing the Flash again in the future. But until that time comes, Grant made some heartfelt comments about his fellow co-stars as he said his goodbyes, saying that what kept him going through the past years was the laughter he shared with them. He said he spent 10 very important years of his life with them, and talked about how strange it was going to be not seeing their faces every single day. What a great bond. The best part is how Gustin's co-stars felt the same about the end of this bittersweet era, as they took to social media to celebrate the filming of the final episode back in March 2023. Candace Patton tweeted, "That's a wrap, y'all," with a video of herself in tears, clearly overwhelmed. "Aw, my heart is hurting." John Core, who played Mark Blaine on the CW show, posted a selfie with Grant on Instagram, singing praises of the star of the show. He talked about how bright Grant's character is and how much respect and gratitude he has for him. "We love a sweet bromance," Core ended the tweet, writing "Team Flash forever," and fans could not stop gushing. Other cast members, including Danielle Panabaker, John Wesley Shipp, and even Arrow star Stephen Amell, celebrated the end of the era. Amell posted a picture of himself and Grant hugging in their superhero suits. And who wouldn't love that? Fans, too, stormed the internet when they heard the news, mourning the end of the show. One fan said there would be nothing like the show on DC ever again, while another thanked Grant and Candace for bringing their favorite DC superhero couple to life. Amen to that. So, from the show's cast being ready to say goodbye to their decade-long journey, to the makers of the Arrowverse deciding to put an end to the franchise, those were the real reasons why there won't be a Flash Season 10.